I was in the Army for 23 years total.
I was in for 5.5 years.
And I was in for just short of 16 years.
There are a bunch of great benefits that the Army gives you when you're in the Army. The first one is you get to work out every day and someone pays you. So that's really good. The second one is if you like shooting things and blowing stuff up, the Army is a great place to work because you do that a lot. So you're getting paid to work out and to shoot stuff and to blow things up. And quite frankly, that's like a dream job for most red-blooded American young men. So that's one of the benefits. Another one, you got to travel all over the place and see new things and experience different cultures. And some of them were new and exciting and wonderful, and some of them were just really weird and frankly, not my cup of tea. But you get to experience this, and you get a whole world view of it. Not only that, but the people that you meet in the Army are from all over America. So you get to, you see the best in everyone. You see, black people and brown people and Asian people from every cut and walk of life, and some of them are great and some of them are just terrible. So you really get to see a whole bunch of America. Other benefits, that the pay, no one's ever going to get rich in the military, but the pay is pretty good. You get a month of paid vacation every year, and you get to use it sometimes, and sometimes you don't. So while I was in, those were some of the benefits.
Uh,
When I was in the Army, they paid for my schooling while I was in. And of course, medical and dental was completely paid for.
yeah, but that stuff aside, it gave me interaction with such a wide variety of people and personality types and whatnot that I've really learned to be able to interact with people on any kind of social level whatsoever and not feel awkward or feel forced like I'm trying to talk to somebody. I have no idea where he's coming from because I've met people from literally just everywhere. Our Army has, I don't know if you're aware, you may be in your research, but our Army has an avenue to citizenship, so people from foreign countries can come join the Army and then gain their citizenship by serving in the Army. So I personally served with guys from the Philippines, Vietnam, Ireland, a couple of English guys, and one Australian guy. So the ability to interact with people on a level that I don't think I would have gotten necessarily just kind of being from one town and never going anywhere. Leadership skills that come with time served, and again how to influence and deal with people. It's a huge benefit.
Really low quality room and board.
Low quality room and board, cinder block buildings.
After the Army, well, the great thing about the Army is they will train you to do just about anything. And most people can choose what they want to do. I chose to be in the infantry, and so the Army trained me on how to shoot stuff and blow things up, and a lot of first aid and a lot of just fun stuff. There's not a lot of market for that after the Army, but I did get to use my GI Bill, and I'm just about a semester away from getting my master's degree. I'm 45 years old and I'm still going to college. That's because the Army has allowed me to do that. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, terrifying. Yeah, you really don't know what to expect because there's kind of this rite of passage thing that the only contact that you and I would have prior to going into the military is one military recruiter, one guy, and he's kind of keeping that stuff close to. He's like, I'm not telling you what it's about. Look, I'll tell you kind of what your job is and to explain the benefits. But he's
They
not
don't
going
tell
to.
you any of the bad
But
stuff.
they won't tell you you're about to get yelled at for a few months straight, and then you're going to get dumped in the worst of the worst jobs for the lowest to pay for a couple of years until you can work your way up the ranks. They don't tell you that. So you just really don't know. Early on, even in basic training, I imagine Lee probably felt something similar. Was You started to feel a feeling of like coming together with these guys that are in the same this same the same struggle as you. You know, you're all trying to get through this one terrifying thing that's basic training. And it's intentional, and you build these bonds with these guys. Well, that bond, you'll feel that for the rest of your career, the rest of a military career, no matter how long or short it is. So it was terrifying in the fact that you were going to do this huge thing, but it was amazing because this camaraderie that you have is just unrivaled once you really bond with these guys that are doing the same thing that you're doing. Lee, is that about right?
Well, it was great. You know, I like to challenge, and so when I showed up at boot camp and the drill sergeants are all yelling and going crazy, it was good fun. And then you know, going through all the training, it was hard, but it was nothing that was unachievable. And so it was good. And you got to meet all kinds of people and see people grow from like these terrible excuses for people into steely-eyed, barrel-chested freedom fighters, and that's a good thing.
Blew stuff up largely.
That's true.
I was a combat engineer, which engineering is misleading because the only things I have ever built in the Army I've immediately I've immediately shot at or stuck C4 to. So when I was the first 6 years of my career, I was
It's pretty much infantry with C4.
I was doing demolition stuff and training to kick in doors and cross obstacles. The last 9, 10, almost 10 years, I was flying a scout reconnaissance helicopter.
I was a supply technician, not as exciting.
She made helicopter noises sometimes, though.
I got to order stuff.
They are the ones that keep all the guys in the Army. They keep them fed. They keep them supplied. They keep all the materials that keep a unit running. Both the stuff that they use, beans, bullets, everything. The logisticians, the supply guys on the company, brigade, battalion, all levels keep the guys armed and fed and clothed. It's a huge responsibility. It's a huge job.
I guess the most intense part of my job was right before deployment. We had to make sure that we had all the equipment necessary to go to war.
I was an infantryman, so when I enlisted after high school, I joined. You know, I went into the infantry. I was a ground infantry. I didn't ride in a vehicle or anything, so it was me and a rifle and a rucksack and 100 of my closest friends. And that's what I did. After about 10 years, I went to officer candidate school, and I became an officer, and I stayed in the infantry. So instead of, you know, being one of the guys on the front lines, I was one of the leaders of the guys on the front lines, and so that was good.
Oh yeah. That experience with Dylan and problem solving is huge because every day is a problem in the Army. You know, there's always something that you need to solve because you're either trying to fix something, work something out, train somebody, deal with a problem in the unit, or learn how to go fight and win anywhere in the world. So problem solving is a big deal. It carries over to every other aspect of your life because if you can take the same concepts and apply them to any situation. So confidence, I'd say confidence is a big deal. Confidence in your abilities to do whatever it is that they put in front of you.
Confidence in your battle buddies' abilities.
Yeah, trust. Yeah, that's huge.
Trust.
You learn to trust in people that you probably wouldn't learn in many other places.
and patience and punctuality.
Punctuality. Yeah.
You had to be 15 minutes prior to a formation, and your first supervisor would have you 15 minutes prior to make sure that you were there 15 minutes prior when the first sergeant called you up. So you were there 30 minutes early, and then you had to wait. So that was patience.
They call that hurry up and wait. You can
Hurry
put
up
that in
and wait
quotes.
is a motto that anybody who joins the Army will know.
The military's, the Army and really all the branches, they kind of operate by a different set of values from mainstream America. Everyone talks about teamwork and integrity and duty and stuff, but in the military, it's stuff that people live by every day. It's not things that you really have to study, because you just look around and it's all there. Someone who's been in the military has shown up, even if it's one tour, he's shown up for work on time every day for 4 years. And that doesn't happen in America. And you can look at the front of this school or any workplace in America, and every day an employee is showing up late or leaving early or not doing what they're supposed to do. In the military, that just doesn't happen. People show up on time. They're given plenty of opportunities and incentives to show up on time, and they do it. And they work until the work's done, and then they leave. Yeah.
Know what you're getting into. That's there's some instances where life is real hard, real quick, because you are unrealistic about what you're doing. If somebody's about to join because they think they get to go put on face paint and shoot rocket launchers, that's it's unrealistic. It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of training to do things that you may not be prepared to do, whether it's be in an austere environment for a year at a time or 15 or 18 months at a time, depending on when and where you are. People aren't prepared sometimes, and it's only that much work for them because there's nothing I can do to make it better for you if you're completely unrealistic about what you're joining up to do. So we joined before the wars. So we got to see the transition from a pre-war army to 10 years of a warring army before I got, or 11, 12 years before I got out of a warring army. So the guys that were joining right after 9/11, there was a mentality that they kind of knew what they thought they knew enough about what they were getting into. Then it kind of started to morph into this thing where they saw the War One YouTube clip at a time and thought it was cool, and then they joined this thing, and they were really prepared for what it was. So do some reading, do what you're doing, talk to people who have been in the Army, and really get to know what you're getting in. That, if I have one piece of advice, that would be it.
I would say know what you want to do, and don't let a recruiter talk you into doing something different. And research being an officer, because I didn't even know that there was an option to be an officer and go to school first. And the whole reason I joined is to have my college paid for originally. And it morphed into much more than that, but that's originally what I started off doing. And I would have been way better off financially if I would have gone to school first and then had my college paid for after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent point.
And then the second piece of advice is if you plan on having a family, know that it is very difficult and not everyone can do it and be successful at it with a family.
Military is not for everyone. All right, it's there's right now, especially with the budget the way it is and the shrinking military, there's about a 70% no-go rate for people who are trying to get in the infantry. So right now they're being very select. 70% declination rate and 30% acceptance rate. That's there aren't a lot of colleges who can say that, but the military does. So people who are going into the military, it's not for everyone. If you not comfortable with people telling you what to do, it may not be the life for you. But if you submit to that, you can have a really great experience. That's a great question. The thing I liked most about being in the military, I mean, I love to do the exercise, and I love to, do all the things that go boom, and I jumped out of airplanes, and that was great fun. But the number one thing was teaching and mentoring young men and women, and making them into better soldiers and better leaders. And so when I retired from the service, I had a lot of opportunities to do things, but junior ROTC was one of the very few that allowed me to continue to do that, which I really, really enjoyed. And for the most part, I've been able to make a positive impact on lives of young men and women. And when they graduate, or even when they just leave after 1 year, the person who's walking out is a better version of the person that walked in, and that's a good feeling.
All right. Thank you for your time.
You bet.